I don't know, maybe it all works in the end, but, I don't foul bait. I'm not looking to, flop or anything like that, but it's almost like you got to. It's almost like, because there's a couple plays in the fourth quarter where I feel like I drove strong, went up strong, and I didn't get the benefit of the doubt. But maybe if I would have flopped, maybe I would have been able to sell that call, and those decide games. We commend players for playing the game the right way, but we give the benefit to those who necessarily are trying to manipulate the game into their advantage. I just don't think it's basketball. Like, let's just play basketball. All the foul baiting, I think it's whatever for me.
Okay, does Jaylen Brown have a point, Vince?
The term ethical hooper has been used so much over the past couple of days. This is just another example of it. I will say this. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has mastered the game. And when players master the game, it's time for the league to take a look at the circumstances that have created a player mastering the game. All the rules over the last 20 some odd years have been favored and tailored toward offense. Resetting the shot clock to 14 instead of 24 after offensive rebounds and changing possessions to speed up the game. The 8-second clock getting it across half court. And now offensive players are able to extend their off arm, are able to jump into spaces that have usually been reserved for defensive players. Anything that feels like 50-50, tie goes to the offense at this stage. And I do think that it's time for the league to go and look at things from the standpoint of, has the axis tilted too much towards offense? That's not a fault of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's him knowing the rule book and knowing exactly how he can exploit the rules to his advantage. He goes to the line as much as anybody. And the reason that he gets such great looks in the fourth quarter when he's going 7 for 8 and doesn't get a hand in his face is because defenses are afraid to touch him or to get near him because they know the consequences. And when that happens, it's not a pretty thing. Nobody likes to see foul baiting. You hear it a lot of times in locker rooms, even in games that don't have anything to do with Oklahoma City or foul baiters. It's just, hey, I don't like that part of the game. The league needs to do something about it. I tend to agree. I don't blame or hate on Shai for it. I blame the league for tilting things so much toward offense that defenses no longer have a chance.
Wendy.
Yeah, so what he was talking about last night here, Shai, was multi-fold. I think he's talking about the fouls 4 and 5 that were called on him in the fourth quarter of this game. And neither one of them involved Shai. One was with Chet falling down on a rebound, we see right here. Actually, not right here, but and then another one was with Alex Caruso, which was his 5th foul off the ball. Caruso sort of fell over. Okay, so that's the one with Chet. He falls down there. He touched him on the shoulder, but Chet goes down like he was hit in the groin. And then here, if Caruso falls down, and this is the 5th foul, and it really affected the way the Celtics played down the stretch. So he's talking about that. Let's start with that. He's also talking about Shai going to the basket. Sometimes he got really upset last night at a foul that wasn't even on him, where he barked at Shai and said, that's not basketball, or at least barked it out loud. I don't know if it was at Shai. So there was a couple of things here. He's also still upset that he got ejected from the game in San Antonio the other night. And I will say this, Shai, Jaylen is going to be first-team All-NBA. He's also going to be first-team All-Interview team because he is very real on the court and he's very real in his interviews. And what he said after this game was, I know the league knows I'm right and I should have been ejected because they didn't fine me. And not only did he go at the officials in the game here, he went to the locker room and then tweeted about the officials, which is usually going to draw a reaction from the league. And so he's got a point there. I will say this. I think Vince is right on. I think if you're going to criticize, because you go around the league and it's almost like a rite of passage. After every game, the coach comes in there, the opposing coach, and complains in one level or another about the Thunder and Shai going to the line. But the truth is, I think that arm bar, or whatever you want to call it, is the bigger weapon for Shai. We saw it last night in the 30 seconds left in this game. He gets isolated on Baylor Shireman. One of the most vital moments of the game, he goes in there and gives Shireman the arm bar, creates the separation. And he's done that how many times, Vince, this year? 200? Watch this. This is deemed a clean play in the NBA. Shireman goes back. That's deemed a clean play. And Shea knows this. This is nothing wrong with this play. This is okay. And Shea uses this to his advantage over and over and over. And it's one of the reasons why he's such a killer in these moments, because he's got the full package with this. And so if you're, and this is what Steve Kerr talked about this the other day. I think Steve Kerr has the right approach here. He's not going to complain about calls that Shea gets. I think if you're going to try to attack this and try to do something with the rules, it's that play right there that they could petition the league to adjust. Because right now, that's allowed. There's nothing wrong with that, no matter how much anybody wants to complain.
Do you agree with that, Vince? That's maybe what they should adjust?
Yeah, I think it's a weird thing when you tell an offensive player that he can extend or use that offhand to ward off a defender. But if your hand or arm is anywhere near him, then the foul gets called on you. Like, the offensive players, the skill level of today's players is so high. The general thing that you hear from coaches and players is they don't need any more help. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is good enough on his own that he does not need more help from you, i.e. the league office or the rule book, to help him get to where he's getting to. I don't think that Shai is exploiting it anymore. He's exploiting it better than other offensive players. That's why the term ethical hooper is always being used in locker rooms by players, and not just players at the end of the bench. These are great players that are coming up and having these conversations amongst themselves, with media, with our recorders off, asking us, hey, what am I supposed to do with stuff like this? There's players in the immediate aftermath of games that will have clips waiting to show you in the locker room and say, what am I supposed to do with that? How am I supposed to defend that? And my answer is, I don't have an answer. Get out the way. And I don't think fans, to be perfectly honest, I don't think fans want to see such an offensive imbalance. I think there was this thought that fans want to see offense. Fans don't want to see 75, 73 games. They don't. What fans want to see is great competition. And great competition often means great defenses having a chance.
Wendy, final word. Go ahead.
I will say this, Shea. Sorry. I will say this. The fastest way in the league right now to get somebody to screw up their face is to mention the Thunder. The Thunder do so many things so well. They've drafted well, they've traded well, they've developed well, they've set themselves up well. Their arena deal is the best arena deal in the modern times. You know, they coach well, you know, and Shea gets these fouls well or doesn't get these fouls well. And there's rampant jealousy and enviness, and people complain about the Thunder left, right, and center. And I'd like to congratulate the Thunder on reaching that level, because that's when you know you've made it, when everybody is complaining about you, and that is definitely the era we are entering in the NBA.